You are seeing this video because it is time for you to exit your lazy girl era for good and step into your rebranded era, your get stuff done era, your productive era, the turning your dreams and goals into reality era. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips to literally say goodbye to laziness and never go through that door again. Before I start giving you tips, by the way, I'm Tabia, and yeah, we could get into the video. First tip that's gonna help you to exit your lazy girl era is to understand that laziness is not necessarily a personality trait, it is a decision. If you look at laziness as a feeling, right? I don't feel to do something, so I don't do it, then you're never gonna get better. But what laziness has everything to do with is a decision, regardless of how you feel. So a person that would describe themselves as lazy is a person who constantly make the easy decision. So whenever they have two decisions to make, their default choice is going to be whatever is easy, whatever is not stressful, whatever feels like it's not going to be a burden and it's not going to overwhelm them, right? Like pay attention to yourself, sis. You wake up and you have to decide between getting out of bed right now, go work out, read a book, make breakfast, etc., versus scroll until guilt throw you off the bed. A lot of people will choose the other option. Scroll until you feel guilty and say, oh my gosh, I wasted so many times scrolling. I need to be better. Listen, rewire your brain to choose regardless of how you feel the hard decision, right? Do I order McDonald's, the fast food, or do I cook healthy food at home? Well, if I cook, I'm gonna have to clean, McDonald's fast food it is. Guess what? Over time of you constantly choosing to do the easy thing, you're going to end up having a very hard life. Let's look at the whole McDonald's scenario for a second. If you're always ordering fast food, right, that wasn't created or made in an environment with love and they don't care about your health, etc., and these people are constantly making food for you, eventually your health is going to go down. You're going to be going upstairs and you're breathing heavy. You're putting on weight, more and more weight. So you start to hate the way you look. Now you have low self-esteem. Now you have health complications. Now you got expensive medical procedures and bills. Now you got to be living on medication. In the moment, it feels good. It feels easy to make the decision. However, it equates to a very hard and uncomfortable life. So if you realize that your life is stagnant, you would describe what you're experiencing in life to be delays. If you're experiencing no growth, you're not achieving your goals, more than likely, sis, you're kind of making easy decisions. It's always easy. By making hard decisions, you have an easy life. So that is my way of motivating you to say, listen, sis, when you got two choices to make, choose the hard thing, because hard decisions lead to easy life. So yes, instead of waiting for a feeling, just make the right decision. You don't need to feel like doing something to make the decision to do it. A lot of y'all, you get up, you go to work, regardless of how you feel, because you know that rent is coming up. You know you gotta send these kids to school, etc., etc. So you don't care how you feel, right? So that means that you can do things, right? Based on observation of your own life, you can do things without needing to feel like it, right? You can. It's just that you haven't applied the same principles into your life that you apply with things like your job. The price that you will pay for having an easy life is the body you could have had. It's the career you could have had. It is the grades you could have get. It's a scholarship that you could have gotten, right? It will be that the business will never start because you keep choosing easy things. Your life, right, and your future becomes the price you pay for the easy, effortless, convenient, comfortable way you're living right now. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, my future, it's too much for me to sacrifice. Okay. So you will be borrowing out of your future and paying for that comfort and convenience in the now. You're stealing from the body you could have had. You're stealing from the money you could have had. You're stealing away the brand deals you could have get if you created the content, right? So you're literally stealing from your future self every time you make an easy decision. You are paying. Okay, this fast food that you're eating, it's not $5, it's not $10. What it's costing you the body that you could have had in the future. When you're watching Netflix for 3 hours, what's that costing you is the good grades you could have had, the content you could have posted, the money you could have made, right? So I don't want you guys to be looking at these decisions as just, oh, it's just an hour, or it's just 2 hours, or it's just a $5 for this thing, or $10. Like really reevaluate what your decisions is costing you, because you are literally borrowing and taking something out of your future to pay for that convenience that you're latching onto in the now. So that's just point one. Let me move on.
Oh, I know you're going to hate hearing this, but I'm just going to give it to you straight. The more you avoid hard things, the harder that simpler things seem to get. So if there's something you don't like doing, cooking, cleaning, phone calls, hard conversations with friends, learning a new skill, whatever it is, the more you avoid that, the more the part of your brain gets weaker. And which part of your brain gets weaker? The one that controls willpower. So if you keep avoiding things that you don't want to do, then eventually you're going to start avoiding things even though you actually want to do them. That's how people get depressed. That's how people get paralyzed. That's how people feel suffocated. That's how people get stuck in life, because they've spent so many years telling their brain, if there's something we don't want to do, then we don't do it. And then eventually the brain is like, actually, I don't want to do anything. So be careful what you teach your mind.
So my second tip for you guys to overcome laziness is going to be to turn your brain off and put that thing on airplane mode. Sis, what are you talking about? Wait, let me cook. Let me explain it. So you know how in the morning when you get up, hopefully this is you, you don't got to think about it. You know you're supposed to brush your teeth, right? You know you're supposed to brush your teeth and wash your face, because you can't show up to your job talking in your boss's face and haven't brushed your teeth asking for a promotion. You can't go up to a girl and tell her you are interested in her romantically and you want to take her on a date and your breath is on poop. You can't be talking to people with bad mouth hygiene. So brushing your teeth is not a negotiable, I hope. So there are other things that you can make a non-negotiable in your life, just like brushing your teeth. You know how you don't got to think about it to brush your teeth? You can literally put it on autopilot in your brain. You don't got to plan it. You don't got to schedule it. You don't got to think about it. It doesn't matter what you have to do that day. It always gets done, right? You can do that with other things in your life as well. For me personally, I do that with my prior life. So for example, my morning routine looks like this. I wake up, I brush my teeth, wash my face, spread my bed. Okay. After I spread my bed, I will read my Bible and then I will pray. So I don't have to think about spreading my bed. I don't have to think about reading my Bible. I don't have to think about prayer. Like that is a staple piece in my life. I do it all the time. Every single day. I should say not all the time. Every single day. I've been doing it for more than a year, more like close to 2 years now. And I haven't missed one day. Why? Because I made it non-negotiable. It's like brushing my teeth at this point. I get up, I don't have to turn my brain on. I just start functioning. Brush your teeth, spread the bed, take out your Bible, read the Bible, and pray. It's on autopilot like a zombie. I could do it in zombie state. I don't need to think. If I have a meeting, I will not put a meeting in the time when that's supposed to happen. I plan around that event, right? And so you guys can do that with other things as well. Like I realized, I was like, how am I so consistent with reading the Bible and prayer, but not consistent with other things? And as I start to really pay attention to the principles at work there, I'm like, okay, I could take this and apply it to other things that I want to be consistent with. Like one of the things I want to be really consistent with is posting content, right? Like this, making videos like this. And so what I decided to do is that every single Tuesday, it's a non-negotiable. Without even thinking, I know I have to make a video on Tuesday. So I don't do my nails on a Tuesday. I don't go out with friends on a Tuesday. I don't talk to people when I get up on the phone on Tuesday, because I have one mission that's locked into my subconscious, which is you got to make some content, sis. You got to make content, sis. I don't know if I said this already, but you can put things on autopilot that you have to do weekly and monthly. It doesn't have to be something that you want to do daily. So an action step for you right now could be write a list of about 1 to 3 things that you would like to be super consistent with. And then you're going to choose a day and a time that you want to do this. Right? And let me tell you guys something, do it sooner rather than later. If I was supposed to say at the end of my day, I'm going to read the Bible and pray and do this, that, and the third, sis, I would be tired. I would be leaving myself open to negotiation, because I could have valid reasons by the end of the day why I can't do that, right? But when I put it at the first part of my morning, what is going to be the excuse? I'm literally just waking up. right? It's the first part of my morning. I can do it before doing anything else. So when it's content day for me on a Tuesday, I don't put content creation after 6 p.m. I put it early up into the morning. Why? Because the later you push stuff back, the more you leave it open to negotiation. I didn't even plan to like give you guys that tip, but as I was like talking, I just said, you know what, let me just make them know this might not work if they, try to take what they're supposed to do that they say they want to be consistent with and push it like towards the end of the day. Put it at the front of the day. And sis, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. That's how a lot of people mess up. They try to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Don't take 10 things and say, I'm going to put it in my brain on autopilot. That's not going to work, sis. Okay. You got to take time and boil the frog. What is she talking about boiling frogs? Let me explain. When someone wants to boil frogs in like those villages or whatever, they would put the frog into like cold water and they'll take time and heat the pot. Okay. And then that way the frog is there and it's slowly turning up on him, like the heat is slowly rising and the temperature is slowly rising, that it doesn't even realize it's being boiled. Versus if you take the frog and you put it into the pot when it's hot, it's going to jump out, right? So some of you guys, you try to do too much all at once and so you crash, you fail, right? You're like, you jump into hot water, so now you got to jump out to save yourself because this is too much, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a position where it's too much. That's why I say like choose 1 to 3 things that you want to do that is going to be constant, whether that's your prior life like me, whether that's content creation like me, whether that's studying, right? Whatever it is that you need to get done, whatever it is that you want to be consistent with, put it on autopilot and thank me later. Let it be a non-negotiable. Mark a day and say, this is the day, this is the time where this thing has to get done. Okay. If I just woke up in the morning and I haven't prayed, I don't care who is calling me, for what reason, that phone isn't going to be answered. I can't touch social media until after I have prayed and read my Bible, right? So I protect that time. I don't go to eat first and then I say, oh, I was feeling a bit hungry, Lord, but here no. So even if I'm hungry, it's like, good for you, sis. You're hungry, but you're going to pray and read the Bible first. Like it has to be that level of devotion, right? It has to be that level of devotion. Like, I don't care what I need to do. The content gets created today on a Tuesday. It gets created today, first thing after my morning routine that I just described. So I want it to be like that for you. Like, it can't be a plaything where you're like, well, I did say I'm going to do content on Fridays, but this guy asked me out. So, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, if you say this thing is a non-negotiable, then it is a non-negotiable. Like, you have to protect it, right? You got to push it forward and you got to protect it. You got to put boundaries around that time. That is sacred time for you to do the thing that you want to be consistent with. Now, I think I made my point very, very clear, so I'm going to move on with the video. So the third point that I want to make on this topic of exiting your lazy girl era for good is to set yourself up for success. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, a lot of us, when it's time for us to do something, when we think about all the things we have to do before actually doing the thing, it's a bit of a turn off, to be honest. Like, for example, if you want to study, you got to go get your book, your laptop, do this, that, and the third. You don't want to do it. You got to do podcasting. You're thinking about, I got to set up the equipment, this and the third. I'm not going to do it. So guess what you do now, sis? Set yourself up for success by, as soon as you get home and you know you want to study later, as soon as you get in the house, you put your laptop out, you take out your textbooks, the highlighters, the pencil, and just have it sitting there waiting on you. So when it's time for you to go and do the thing, the effort part had already been removed. The key is to do it before you're ready, right? Before your brain says, I need to study. Get the environment set up. So for me, I know Tuesdays, I got content, my camera is set up, my ring light is set up, everything is ready to go. So on Tuesday, it cuts down my time, number one. So my clothes, I already get my clothes prepped, my hair prepped, everything is prepped. So the day when I'm supposed to do it, I leave a little to no room for excuses because I already did the setup, right? All I have to do now is just like go shower, get ready, and come sit in front of the camera, right? So this is this principle, right? Set your environment up for success. Do something today that will push you closer to the thing that you got to do tomorrow or later, right? Take the equipment out, set up the camera, take the laptop out, log in, and don't do anything else. Like, you don't got to do a bunch of stuff. Yeah. So the lesson here, the idea here is that you're doing something that makes it easier and take away excuses from you when the time has come. If you wait, like I said, for the appointed time to do these things, you might think about the effort that you're gonna have to put in. Like, I gotta spend all this time setting up all this equipment, and then after I'm done, I gotta sit down and create the content. And so you're literally like removing your what's available for you to use as an excuse. Basically, you're making it easy for yourself to do the thing. You're setting yourself up for success. So I want to do a video on self-discipline because I have an interesting take on being disciplined. Just like how I have an interesting take on what actually is laziness. And so I want you guys to subscribe for that. If you guys are familiar with my content earlier, you would know that I mostly post like business videos that are very technical. But lately I'm thinking about switching it up. I was advised to that I give really good life advice and that I should just speak on life in general and not just business. And I am listening to this person and try to have fun with content and not just post business content. If you want to talk about life, girl, whether it's self-improvement, goal setting, business, faith, spirituality, whatever, yeah, subscribe because I have a whole bunch of that coming up. Okay, I think I'm going to start posting on Sundays. By the way, once again, I'm Tabia. Subscribe. Bye, girl.